Good morning, Warriors! Back with another episode of Vigor Warriors 2 and the 1% Club. Hope you guys are doing well. I did take a day off yesterday, running around like a crazy warrior, trying to get things done and conquesting all kinds of battles. Took a couple hits, but we're in good shape today. We're in good shape, my friends. We're good shapes. So, we're going to talk about an interesting topic today. I'm going to do some shout-outs first, but I hope you guys are doing well on your purpose and continue to fight those battles. You may win some, you may lose some, but continue to battle on, my friends. Always walk forward. Dr. Martin Luther King said that. I remember that. Always walk forward. If you can't walk, crawl. Do something. Move. Move ahead, warriors. Never give up. Never give up. Fight to the end. All right, so a couple shout-outs before we start doing this, my friends. Let's see. We got Frederick Grey. We all mess up, my friends. As I'm talking about, keep moving. Keep moving forward. Always do something. I don't care if you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 80 years old. Keep goals. Keep moving. And that's the way to do it. Be the masculine males that they don't want in the society anymore, but we got them. We're still here. We're not going anywhere. Main character. Thank you, my friend. Fabian 69. Yisrael Yahudah, Cologne X Candles, thank you. Giovanni, as usual, my friend. BeJa, thank you. Level Earth, Hanifa, thank you. Hamza Redfield, thank you so much. CS, George Jetson, Arjen, John Williams, welcome from Australia. Thank you for making a comment. 1 year and 3 months. Keep it going, my friend. Cheng V, as usual, great Cheng V, thank you. And Uran Svaboda, thank you, my friend. So about 2 minutes here. Let's talk about a topic. I'm gonna look at it from a couple of our great female viewers. Belladomma and Nicole from last year made a comment. I want to kind of bring these together a little bit and talk about this from a woman's perspective, and I think it's interesting. Now, before I do that, I do want to kind of focus on this new book one of our viewers talked about, and that's talking about our immortal man, and I think he called it Lee Quinnon. And there's an interesting comment he makes in here. Now, I'm not sure the background. I'm still reading through it, but I thought this was a very interesting comment. And he's talking about the fact that he says, we enter this world because of sexual energy, and we depart from this world because of the lack of it. That's a Taoist aphorism from the Rosy Cloud teaching. So when we're talking about this, he's talking about the quote really talks about the fact that sex is the reason we are born, and sex is the reason we'll die. Very interesting. We're full of young and we're full of sexual vitality, but as we age and frequently dissipate our sexual energy, we grow even more feeble and lose our sexual vitality. But as Ling Quinnon points out, there's no reason other than our own self-inflicted physical abuses to lose our sexual vitality. Now, that's perfect, my friends, we're talking about here. Now, we're talking about women. This is from a woman's perspective, and I want to kind of talk about this a little bit. Belladomma, great comments she's making here. She's talking about the fact that she doesn't really understand why men deal with a lot of these women in their 20s. Well, we know a lot of men, because they're physically visual in how they look and how they see things, are attracted to women no matter what age, or especially if they're fertile in their 20s and they're going to have, can have babies. And so their reproductive males have that instinct, and so they're going to go ahead and look at females who look attractive. But the values and ideas that people have eventually come into play, because after all that intimacy is over with, you still got to talk to that person. You still have a relationship with that person. And the question becomes is, can you even get along with that person? You don't even know this person because of the way they look, and you can't get past the way they look to actually find out anything about them. So as we talk about this, we're really kind of talking about the fact that the immaturity of men and women in their 20s is becoming more prevalent because of the lack of really communication from an interpersonal standpoint. More technology, more of these other things going on, and there's less and less of the idea of really looking at the values of a person instead of what they look like physically. And that kind of leads us back to semen retention, of course. Because when we look at this type of thing, we're looking for the fact that we're looking for what looks good, and we're not looking for what is good for us. And that's the key. It's not what looks good. It's what looks good for you, warrior. And when you're looking at this, trying to figure out, is this person somebody that's good for me or not good for me? And the whole key is this whole thing is finding people who are givers like you're givers. Men are givers. If you look at the whole thing, and Nicole has said this too, men are givers. Men are the ones who basically are giving. They're providing, they're protecting, they give, obviously they're releasing to a woman. They're giving to the woman. The woman is nurturing, the woman is having the children, the women are the ones who are the ones who are really the key person when it comes to the relationships in a family. I saw this as a little warrior when I had family members. They all got together all the time. It was because of the women in the family. It wasn't because of the men. And once the women passed away, well, we didn't have the kind of get-togethers anymore that we used to have to. I had to kind of put some together, but it wasn't the same type of thing without the women involved. And so the women are the ones really kind of very good at trying to get people together. So we look at this whole situation. That is the key. That when you look at this type of thing, you focus really on the relationship between the man and the woman, and this is what you're looking for. You're looking for one person warrior that you can actually have a relationship with, a partner with, long term, and that you can actually have that person help you with the goals. And when you talk about, when Nicole's talking about the thing, she also talks about the fact about a year ago is that we're talking about men and women. They can be very submissive to each other. I know submissive is always a word that we use and people push away and say, oh, that's never going to happen to me and that kind of stuff. Well, the fact of the matter is, if you have givers, and men are givers, men will do anything for women they're in love with. This is just a fact that we've seen for thousands of years. Women are the ones really kind of in control, especially in their 20s especially, of a lot of the men, because men tend to find that attractiveness, alluring type of thing, and they become more into the woman. The woman understands that, but the woman also understands that the man provides a lot of great things there. And so it becomes like what's called a head shifting of situations, that the responsibility, of the family, of the workplace, all these type of things switch back and forth. But the key is that you've got to have a man and a woman who basically is submissive to each other. And if the man is willing to do anything for the woman, then why wouldn't the woman be submissive to the man? It makes no sense to me unless you're looking at this from a purely self-centered position. And if you do that, it's going to be hard any kind of relationship you have, warriors, if people are looking at this from me only. Oh, I'm not going to do this. I'm beneath this. I can't do this. Well, and this is why you see a lot of lonely people, especially lonely women, in their 30s and 40s when they've hit this wall and they're not as attractive and they don't have men and suitors looking at them all the time and trying to give them things. They're all of a sudden don't know what to do, because all of a sudden they're not as attractive, and these men who are in their 30s are now looking for women in their 20s, because again, that's when women are fertile and can have children pretty easily, and that's when men are interested in down deep. Down deep, guys, biologically, when you look at this whole deal, you're talking about animalistic subconscious behaviors. What does this person look like? What are our children going to look like if I end up going with this person and having children with this person? All that mating behavior is no different than other types of things. Now, yes, in a situation like a dog doesn't have to worry about all this other kind of stuff they do, all these kind of rituals that we do, right? They go smell the other dog and say, she's for me. That's it, And that was a Rodney Dangerfield joke a long time ago, so kudos to him, my friend. I obviously liked Rodney Dangerfield. But the thing is that when you're talking about this, you're talking about animals react like this. They see an attractive woman, the male is interested in mating. Now, what a female is, a lot of that's controlled by the female, and of course, in certain species, like for instance some of the species, they bite the head off of the male, right? The praying mantises, I think it was, or the bees. Well, the male dies, right? Those type of things. But once again, it's a matter of progressing the generations forward. But again, we look at those type of things when we see this, and we react to it because we know that down deep, this is kind of what we're looking for. And when we see this, we realize that it becomes more than just the physical nature of what the person looks like. But a lot of times, as people get older, they realize it's too late, and now they're out of a different market as far as men and women go. And some of these women and men who've had large body counts, well, how can people trust them in any kind of relationship long term? And this is why we go back to the old thing about retention again. We talk about the fact that if you can control yourself, you have all kinds of men and women, and I see it all the time. Even at 61 years old, it's just phenomenal to me. I wish I'd known this when I was in my 20s, but chances are, as a warrior, I probably wouldn't be able to control myself in my 20s, and so now it's probably a better situation because I have a lot more control, and I'm not really interested in all that kind of stuff any longer. So the thing is that is something that is a really ironic twist of life here. But the thing is that they want somebody who they think is full of energy, has the seed, but also somebody who has that maturity to understand what life is about. And this is why, guys, the longer you can actually hold your seed and not just spew it out there. I mean, our immortal guy, again, going back to immortal guy, basically says that we end up dying early because we're losing that energy all the time. And the more you keep that energy, the chances are you're going to have a more fruitful and long life. And the key is going to be to keep that energy. And so as Belladomma and Nicole, thank you guys, thank you ladies for going ahead and giving us your opinion from women's perspective is really important. I think a lot of men, a lot of women would be more than happy to be submissive to a man if there was a submissive from the man to the woman. And I think it just makes a big difference. But many men are much givers. Men who are very self-centered, which we see a lot of young men now in this kind of age that are like that as well, are not really going to attract a lot of women. And again, when we talk about self-centered, aren't we talking about retention? If you're releasing, aren't you being very selfish releasing? That's a good question. And I think for those who are in a 1%, we realize that it's more of a self-centered behavior than it is a given behavior to somebody else when we want to procreate or we're with one person. And it makes a big difference. So great topic. Thank you, Belladomma. Thank you. And bringing value to a relationship is a lot more important than the physical part of it, and that's the key thing we're talking about here. Belladomma, and going back a year ago, thank you, Nicole. I think we did talk about that at one point, but I wanted to bring it back up again. So thank you, ladies, for your comments, and I appreciate your feedback, so we always can get a woman's perspective once in a while on what we're talking about. And I think, guys, the key is women are great people, no doubt about it. We need women in our life, but we need the right kind of women, and we need to be able to live life in a way where we have goals and focusing on things that are higher level, and those women will be with us and kind of share our adventures as a warrior, and also share our accomplishments and conquests as we go along. All right, my friends, so great day today. Thank you guys for all the people who've always contribute. I'll have some more tomorrow probably. I get a chance to do another one. And until then, guys, two things to remember. One, every day is a new day to a great warrior. And number two, my friends, continue to battle